Hi Atomic Youth, hope you guys have been staying nice and warm. It's definitely been getting quite cool now. Both Matt and I have been wearing some winter clothes, making sure we're under blankets, got the heater going all the time almost. But we just hope that you guys are doing well, especially during this time. Even though some of you guys are starting to get back a little bit more to normal, going to school maybe 1 or 2 times a week. But even though we are still in this, a little bit of this isolation, we now have week 3. So before you guys start, I'm just going to provide you guys a couple of short videos of both Matthew and I completing a couple of activities for you guys from week 2. Check them out. I decided we wanted to join you guys in doing some of these challenges. So in week 2 it did say to make oobleck. I had seen this being done at school. I have actually not done it myself, so we're about to find out how well this goes. I believe it is 1 part cornstarch to 2 parts. Sorry, I just said that incorrectly. It is 1 part water to 2 parts cornstarch. So I'm gonna start off small. I'm gonna put in half a cup of, whoa, cornstarch that went everywhere. We'll add that to it. I've got a lovely rip in the bag here. Put it in the bowl. Alright, let's not make too much of a mess yet. Already have made a mess. Don't breathe, anyone. Alrighty, I'm gonna do only 1/4 cup of water so far. And then we'll see how it goes. I don't want to do too much and lose a whole heap of cornstarch. Don't put that much in there. I have heard it can go, oh yeah, so it is getting really tough to begin with already. Let's see how this goes. Oh wow. I think some people have said that hands is the best way to mix this. So once I've just gotten the majority of this off, I'm going to use my hands. As you can see, I'm in my lovely warm clothes here. Oh my goodness, this is so weird. I do need to do a bit of mixing first because it is still a little bit much of a water. Oh. Yep, I just need to fully mix it in. Some of the cornstarch hasn't. Actually, I think it is working. I could actually put a little bit more cornstarch. When I just put my hand in, it's a little bit more of a liquid. But if I tap down on it, it is very. You can see it is a little bit more of a liquid. But I can definitely feel some cornstarch stopping me from trying to go too far in the bowl. So there it is our dodgy edition of oobleck. I have seen some of yours and yours have been so much better than ours. Alrighty.
Hi everyone, so Katie made our oobleck. I'm going to do 20 squats. Here you go. And not to be outdone by one person, here's 5 more.
And 1 more for good luck, maybe.
1 more for good luck. There you go.
As you can see by those short videos, you can definitely see that we are having way too much fun too doing this. If you guys haven't been submitting, I definitely recommend that you guys do so. We've been creating new challenges every week. So far we've got 30 challenges for you, but definitely 10 for this week. Also, the winner of week 2 will be written down below, or maybe even above, depending on where we are. But congratulations to that winner. We'll hopefully get out your prize by this Sunday, so stay tuned for that. We'll send you a message. Alrighty, week 3 challenges. So the first one out of the next 10 for this week is 25 star jumps. We thought, nah, 20 squats was pretty good, but let's up the ante just a little bit more, just a tiny little bit. You guys need to film yourself completing all of these 25 star jumps, and we are counting. Okay, so the second one is create a new clothing style. Depending on how fashionable you want to be, is this a 2050 style? Is it back 1940s and it's a completely new futuristic look? Create your own clothing style. Alrighty, so number 3, make a bucket list. We want to at least try and see if you guys can get maybe 10 items on that list for now. Some people do up to 100 on that list and try to complete them throughout their life. It could be places they want to go, things that they've always wanted to do and try. See if you can create a list of things that you'd like to do. Number 4 is cook dinner for your family. If you want to go really extreme into it, you can create your own little restaurant at home for your family. You can be the chef, have some tablecloth, the plates all set out for your family, and some candles. Do whatever you like as long as you cook dinner for your family. Number 5, take photos of nature and get creative. It can be simple as even just taking photos from a different angle, maybe different filters as well, but see how creative you can get with this one. Another one that we want to get you to do is to create a music video. Is there a song you guys really like? Maybe it's just you singing along to it or doing a routine, dance routine that is. Do whatever you like. Next one is building a house with a deck of cards. We've all seen people doing a tower, maybe like 5 or so triangles along the bottom of cards, and then 4, 3, 2, whatever. I want you guys to see if you can actually physically create a house. It's going to be tricky, so take your time. So our 8th one is draw like Michelangelo. Who is Michelangelo? So, from what you guys have heard, or possibly not heard before, he would have to lay back down on scaffolding in some of the old churches, and he would have to paint, basically completely horizontal. I want you guys, we can do a quick little simple replica of you laying underneath the table, put a piece of paper up the top, and drawing like Michelangelo. See what you guys come up with. Alright, number 9, write a letter to your future self. This is something that we're going to get you guys to read in 1 year's time. So depending on how quickly we come back to you, we'll collect all of those. We won't read them, we'll just put them in a box and we'll hand them out to you next year. Maybe it's something encouraging, maybe it's something from your past, or maybe a memory that you wanted to remember at this time. Even if it's a short or a long letter, it's up to you. And the last activity that we have for you guys this week is to make lava in a cup. You can do this even in a water bottle as well if you wanted to keep it contained and keep it for a bit longer. But this one is only 3 or 4 ingredients. So this one you'd have 3/4, in this case, if we do it in a cup, it's 3/4 of a cup of pure water. Then we have a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, so just a little bit on the top. You'll see that the vegetable oil will float. And the other ingredient is a teaspoon of salt. When you add the salt, you'll see some pretty cool magic happen. Anyway, if you guys add some food coloring as well, it'll look really cool with that kind of lava effect. Alrighty guys, please send in your submissions as soon as possible. We love seeing what you guys can create and make up. We just love seeing them all, so definitely if you haven't already submitted anything to us, please send it in as soon as possible. You guys have until Friday, 7 PM next week to get in as many as you can. Now we are also deciding now, we're not going to leave it just to 1 point per challenge. What we've decided is you can do a challenge as many times as you like. For instance, star jumps. If you do 25 star jumps once a day for that whole week, you could get up to 6 to 7 points. Another thing, you could even, like we said with the squats last week, you can also do them weighted. If you can find something, and we'll see how we go with those scoring, we might be able to give you guys some more extra points. So see how you guys go. Definitely try and get as many as you can. Alrighty guys, that's enough hearing from me. I'm going to pass on to Matt and let you guys listen to the message that he has for you guys this week. See ya.
Hi everyone. I'd really like to thank you all for the entries we've had for the competitions, for the challenges. I really encourage you all that if you're not competing, to get into it. The prizes are awesome. Katie and I have really been enjoying and loving seeing the entries, seeing the creativity that you've been putting into these challenges. So we'd both just like to thank you so much for the work that you are putting into this. It means a lot. And if you're not participating, we really encourage you to get involved. These are some really fun challenges that we think we've set. If you need a hand with getting anything, getting supplies, if it's too hard with your parents to get these supplies, just let us know. Katie and I will be quite happy to facilitate and assist in getting some supplies to you if you need them to complete these challenges. Really hope you'd all get into it. The more entries, the better. Like I said the first week, we are going to look at doing a compilation at the end of it once we can all come back to youth in this building, and we'll put that video up on the screen so everyone can see it, and we can have a look at all the entries that were submitted. Moving on, I just want to talk to you today about foundations. Now, foundations are everywhere in this life, in this world. The house you're sitting in, it's built on foundations. It's being held up by foundations. You know, but there's more than just those foundations. You know, if you ever do makeup, I don't. I'm just telling you what Katie's told me. Foundation is used in makeup as a base layer. It's where you start when you want to go and apply more. If you're, it's the first thing you apply before you add on additional. You know, I don't know. There's blush, there's eyeliner, you know, lipstick. That all stuff is add on and built off the foundation. You know, if you're going to fight someone or wrestle, this is something more for the guys. But when you're wrestling someone, if your feet aren't in the correct position, they're not on the ground correctly. When you're wrestling the other person, it was so easy for them to push you over because you don't have a good solid foundation. Where if you do, like if someone comes against you and you've got a good foundation with your feet, it'll be incredibly hard for them to push you over. Foundation can make a whole world of difference in a wrestling match, even if the size of the people involved are completely different, based on foundation. You also have foundations in school, in classes. You know, basically year 7, 8, and 9 is foundation of everything. You're expanding your foundation knowledge of math, of science, of English. You're given a level of education in primary school, and now you're getting that extended throughout year 7, 8, and 9 of high school. And it's just building a foundation. So when you hit year 10, 11, and 12, you start getting more and more advanced. You can start learning more advanced math. So you might just be doing, you know, basic algebra in year 7, 8, and 9. In year 10, you'll be doing 10, 11, and 12. Now, you might learn the quadratic equation, parabolic equations, and not just how to solve them, but how to draw them. Great fun year 12 math methods. So, but all that knowledge starts from your foundation levels. So, like, you might have it in your primary school, year 7, 8, and 9. I know in high school you can still get foundation math in year 10. That's just there to assist you with further understanding more of the basic math concepts if you've struggled throughout previous years. But in the Bible, Jesus talks about foundation, but he doesn't talk about foundation of, you know, math. He doesn't talk about foundation of makeup. He talks about the foundation of our lives. Matthew 7, 24 to 27 says, Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and floodwaters rise, and the winds beat against the house, it won't collapse because it is built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rains and floods come and the winds beat against the house, it will collapse with a mighty crash. So imagine this. Two builders. They both want the same thing. They both want a beautiful house overlooking the sea. One builder, according to the story here, he was wise. He looked at the landscape, looked at the beach, looked at the surrounding ground, and he pointed to the area and said, that's where I want to build my house. And that house was off the beach. It was up on dry land. There was no sand, it was just rock. You know, you got soil, you've got all that stuff. But underneath it, it was rock. And he spends his years and he builds his house on that rock. The other builder says, well, no, I want to be closer to the beach. I want to have better views. So he looks around, he sees a section of sand, and he says, I want to build my house there. So he'll probably get in there with his excavator, he clear away the sand a bit, and then he will start building his house on the sand. You know, a year or so later, both guys are quite happy with their houses. You know, the one who built on the sand, you know, tides never reach it. He's far enough back, and he has a great view of the ocean. The other builder, he's a little bit further back. He still has an amazing view of the ocean, but he's built on solid rock. And one day, this hurricane, this typhoon, comes across the area. Now, it causes the sea to rage. Okay, rain pours down, and it hits both houses. Both houses get hit with this typhoon. There's winds, there's rain, there's waves, there's stormwater. The house that was built on the sand, when the rain hits it, it falls down the wall, hits the sand, and flows back to the ocean. As the wave hits it, the waves hit the side of the house, run down, hits the sand, and pulls that sand back to the ocean. The foundation isn't solid. And as the wind blows sand away, as the rain and the water pull sand away from the house, it is no longer as stable as it once was. And after a couple of hours of just being bombarded with this storm, the house collapses. It wasn't built on stable foundations, so that when it was attacked by the storm, it fell down. Yet, the wise builder who built his house a little bit further back on the solid rock, it gets the same treatment. It still gets hit by waves. It still gets hit by the wind. It still gets hit by the rain. But when it gets hit, the rain hits the ground and washes away. Okay, the winds push against it, but the solid foundation causes it not to move. And after the storm, his house is still standing. It's weathered the storm and it's survived. While the other house, the foolish builder, he's just standing in a house of rubble. The foundation's been washed away, there's nothing left. And that's just like our lives. Jesus isn't talking about physical houses. Jesus is talking about how we live our lives and how we accept God's word. We can be like the foolish man. We can hear God's word, we cannot accept it, we cannot take it on into our lives, and we'll be like the foolish man building his house on the sand. Okay? And when the storms of life come against us, when financial distress hits us, when sickness and disease hits us, when trouble at school hits us, when we think we're like going a downhill path, like you're struggling, you might have issues with your mental health if you're feeling sad and depressed. When all that hits you, when all that storm hits you, you're going to have nothing to stand on, and your house, your life essentially can get washed away from underneath you, and you'll just be falling, and you'll just be, standing and having to deal with the situation, however it comes at you. Okay? And you'll be in circumstances you can't control. But if we take God's word, if we listen to it, if we read it, if we believe it, and we take God's word into our hearts, and we'll build our lives off the foundation of God's word. So when it says, love thy neighbor, we love them, no matter if they're evil to us or not. Okay? We do as God's directed, and we live our lives worshipping God, spending time with God. We build our lives on His rock, so that when we get hit by the same things that hit the other man, financial distress, sickness and disease, they will still come when you believe in God. But rather than the house of our lives just being torn down and pulled out from underneath us, and you might lose everything, when you have a life in God, and those storms hit you, your faith says, no, I'm an overcomer. And God says, I will look after you. And that you will be like the house that was built on the bedrock, that no matter what happens, you will still be standing at the end of it. You still have your life. Okay? That's what Jesus is saying. Okay? Verse 24, anyone who listens to my teachings and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the floodwaters rise and the winds beat against the house, it won't collapse because it is built on bedrock. Bedrock is solid and unmovable. Jesus is the bedrock for our lives. He is solid, he is unmovable. If we build our lives on Him, when we are attacked, we will be solid and unmovable. I just want to let you all know that, no matter what's going on in your lives at the moment, Katie and I are here. We're happy to talk to you. You can call us, contact us through social media, Instagram. If you have our number, text us, call us. We are quite happy to talk to you if you need it. Right, I just want to leave that with you this week. And guys, feel free to contact us anyway. We really love talking to you guys. We miss you. We really miss not having youth. Okay? We hope this is going okay. Okay, get those entries in. If you haven't done it before, do it, because it's a lot of fun. And if you get the most amount of points, you win something in the end of it, at the end of the week, and a grand prize overall. So, enjoy your week, guys. See you next week.